same path people would bleed for, that I would die for, cause my passion is theirs times 4. So I don't mind watered down rhymes, I understand it takes one hell of a man to never deviate from what he's planned. That's what I stand with my chest out, even with my best pals. Only on my own, in my own home will I rest out. That's what I'm stressed out, more often than not, cause a great mind never stops, cause it takes time for the dots to meet. And off the beat, off the record, yo, this is not for me. This is for my fam and for anyone who supported me. Way before the autumn leaves faded to hazel brown from green. Way before the notion of emotion in a human being. Way before I even knew this was a possibility. So I surrendered me and I promised to you I was proceed. Yeah.
Listen to me now, make sure you're here. Open up your eyes and make sure you see that I'm not gonna let you down.
No, I want it
Let
down.
you down.
No, I want it
Let you
down.
down.
Yeah.
Let you down. Said I'm not gonna let you down.
No, I won't let you
Let
down.
you down.
No, I won't let you down.
Let you down.
Yeah.
Let you down. Said I'm not gonna let you down.
Yeah, I promised mum that I'd bring the paper in, trying to show my gratitude for the hours that she's been labouring. And even though there's been a lot of strain on our relationship, I'm trying to make of it what I can, cause I know the pain she's in. But she was raised the prince, heir to the throne, the power of an entire nation runs bare from my bones, so surrender is not an option. Cause I'm here for the long road in search of a destination I can embrace as my own. Yeah, you can see from how I speak that I grow, risen in stature, to the man that write his stands of his pros and cons, bearing for the masses, till they care about my actions. So when I turn into those ashes, I can burn with a satisfaction. I'ma earn a type of classic, the shift I'm putting in, with my grit and determinations, left teetering on the brink of doing something with my sound. I'm ready to make you proud, you must believe it when I say that I'm not gonna let you down. Yeah.
Listen to me now, make sure you're here.
Yeah.
Open up your eyes and make sure you see that I'm not gonna let you down.
No, I won't let you down.
Let you down.
No, I won't let you down.
Let you down. Let you down. Said I'm not gonna let you down.
No, I won't let you
Let
down.
you down.
No, I won't let you
Let you
down.
down. Let you
Yeah.
down. Said I'm not gonna let you down.
So, do you want to introduce yourself and tell us where we are right now?
Yeah, I'm Cynikal. I'm a rapper and producer, and right now we're at the George in Wanstead, a pub that I used to go to as a kid every Friday night after school. And yeah, man, I just thought it'd be nice to come back here and talk a little bit about what's been going on.
Awesome. Okay, so I'm going to dive in straight with the questions. The first thing I wanted to ask was, because obviously you went to Leeds College of Music, you studied music there, like that's obviously one of the most prestigious places you can go.
Yeah.
So my question is kind of, what's your approach to music? Because obviously you went there, I'm sure you learned a lot of sort of technical things, you learn a lot of techniques. The way you approach music, is it sort of that kind of methodical discipline thing, or is it sort of more intuitive? And has Leeds changed that, or how
Well,
does it?
the amazing thing about the university I went to was that they taught you a lot of things, not just the technique. They taught you the philosophy and the psychology behind making music as well. And obviously I was always about the feeling when I create music, but they kind of drilled it into you even more, and it's probably a bit of a shock, but I went to a conservatoire and they actually taught you to feel, not just to think.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Whereas most people might think that go to a conservatoire and they're going to tell you the technique and that's the be all and end all, and you have to be extremely tight, disciplined. But my teachers were active musicians in the industry. Some of them had been signed, some of them had been rock stars, some of them had got into mischievous things. So they told us exactly how it was, and I think that's the amazing thing about going to somewhere like Leeds College of Music. So I kind of take elements of what they taught me, and obviously I'm a professional musician, so my own experiences are obviously going to play a part in that as well. So it's just finding that balance between what I've been told and what I've seen, and just kind of taking that middle route and then combining it.
Awesome. Okay, so I mean, like talking about your route, for example. So I think you mentioned in The Dark Knight, I think you say like you're the only Asian guy doing it, right?
Yeah.
So my kind of question here is, is that something that you think about, that you're sort of like a role model to other kids trying to do the same thing that you're doing, or is it something that, you just kind of do your thing and it's like whatever?
Yeah, no, I don't really think about being a role model. I know that it's going to come with the territory, but I don't think about that too much, because then you lose track of what it is you're trying to do, and I'm just trying to express my feelings.
Yeah.
So sometimes there's going to be things I talk about which I might have done, and it might not be a good thing. So I can't expect people to then want to do what I'm doing, but all I'm doing is just expressing my opinions, expressing my thoughts and my feelings, and it's just entertainment at the end of the day. Do you know what I mean? Like, people listen to music to enjoy it. Do you know what I mean?
Exactly.
If there's a message in it, then that's cool, and a lot of my stuff does have messages. But I don't think that people should take what I say as gospel. I think they should just listen to it and make their own interpretation of what I'm saying. Really.
Definitely. Completely agree. I mean, because talking about that, obviously, like you said, you've got some songs where, it's more about the enjoyment, and you've got some songs with a message. Because in some of your songs, you talk about some of the struggles that you've been through, and you talk about, how you struggled to get here, and like how, you would have almost gotten to where you are now faster if it hadn't been for those things. So my question is sort of, how much of a struggle were these things that you went through? Like, were they sort of blips in the road, or was there ever a time when you kind of, lost track of what you were aiming for?
I don't really think it was that me losing track of the musical kind of direction. It was more a personal thing,
Yeah.
I was dealing with some really, really, really dark stuff, and I still am really, but obviously what goes on in your personal life affects you as a musician, because music is just an expression of who you are.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I'm just penning what I'm going through. So it affected me in that sense, and I felt like the priority kind of slipped. It no longer became trying to make music, it became trying to get my life back on track.
Yeah.
But it was never a case of I thought this crisis would hinder me from actually succeeding.
Yeah.
It was just more that I need to get through this, and I need to deal with this,
Yeah, get you.
And it's difficult because I come out of uni, and I've kind of just been a bit lost, because for the first time in my life I was out of education. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And especially when that plays a major role in your life, because I'm one of those people, I worked hard in class, and I did focus and stuff. So when you've lost that, and then I moved out of my mum's, and it was just like, it was difficult, man, because when you move to uni, you know that, okay, you're gonna be back at your parents' house. Do you know what I mean? I'm coming back. But then when I moved out of my mum's after uni, and I knew, okay, this is for real now. Like, I'm actually an adult, and this is like, I've actually got to do something with my life.
Yeah.
It was difficult, man. It was difficult saying goodbye to childhood, because I think until you do that, until you move out and you're actually fully independent, like I'm not talking about uni, I'm talking about beyond that, you're still a kid.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? But all of a sudden I was like, people are relying on me now. My family are starting to rely on me to make them proud and shit. So I don't even know if I can say that word. But
that's the way
but yeah,
it's YouTube, man.
Yeah, man. It was just like, it was hard to deal with, but I'm getting through it. I'm getting through with the transition, becoming, a young man to just like really a professional and a respected adult among my peers.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Brilliant. I mean, the final question is just basically like, what can we expect next? Because obviously, you just dropped Breakfast, and that's been, blowing up, and there's been a lot of, press about it. What are the next steps, in the kind of immediate future and longer term?
I mean, in the long term, there's a lot of stuff I want to achieve, man. I want to win awards. I want that A-list rotation. I want number ones. I want all that. But there's a long way to go to get there. And I think there's a lot of development that people are going to see from me, because I think even now, I had a conversation with my friend earlier, just before I came actually, about my artistic direction. And I was saying, I've got an idea for some acoustic stuff that I really want to be getting into, because I've been gigging acoustically, like 95% of my gigs have been acoustic for the last year. And I was like, I'm going to investigate this as part of my studio sound. So like, maybe I'll be heading towards that and becoming less hip-hop. Or maybe I'll become more hip-hop, who knows, but I just really want to progress. I don't want to ever stay the same, because I get bored very quickly, and I felt like when I released Breakfast, as opposed to it being an unveiling of myself, It was more closure. It was like, I put this out and now I'm moving on, as opposed to I put this out and now this is what I'm going to be.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
yeah.
people might think that's me, but the second that I put that out to the world, I was no longer that. I was already finding what's new, and I'm already doing that now. And I think it's going to be an interesting journey over the next few months where I go musically, as a person, artistically, and creatively. It's just going to be, I'm just going to try and find who it is and what it is that I want to do. I don't think I'm going to conform to the sound that you've necessarily heard from me.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That's a great way to end it. Thank you very much for
Cool,
coming
man.
out.
It's been a pleasure. Safe, bro. Cool.